are making an elevated green bean casserole. This recipe is from Basics with Babish. I'll link the recipe in the description down below, or I'll link his video down below. First thing we're going to do is onions, and we're going to use a mandolin for this. We want the crispy fried onions. You can buy these as well, but thought I'd give them a shot making them homemade. The mandolin is pretty necessary though for this sort of thing, because basically we're making these very thin onion pieces. And we're gonna marinate those or soak those in buttermilk. And we'll let that sit for a couple minutes while I get the cornstarch and the dredge ready. Got maybe a quarter of a cup of cornstarch in here. I might need to add more, but the idea is we want to squeeze buttermilk out of this. I think I'd add a bit more cornstarch. I'm out of cornstarch, so I'm gonna add a little bit of flour. Normally these would be deep fried. I'm gonna actually give it a shot in the air fryer, see how that works. If you see it come out, then it works. If not, I'll fry it. For this, I'm just gonna have to do it in some batches. So I'm just gonna spread these out. So I'll do 2 batches, and we'll spray that with some oil. So we can put that on for 20 minutes. Onions are cooking. We are now gonna work on the mushrooms. So these are crimini mushrooms, and I've stemmed them and cleaned them. Now we're gonna chop them. For these, we're actually gonna crush them first, and then chop them. There, we've got it. These are minced, not super consistently, but should be fine. Now we're gonna go over to the stove and start making the soup. We've got about 2 to 3 tablespoons of butter here, just melting in a pan. We'll let that melt, and then we'll add the mushrooms. Okay, the butter is bubbling. We're just gonna let this cook down. The moisture is starting to come out, and we'll wait till all the moisture is gone, it dries out again. I think we're done with this stage. Now we're gonna deglaze with a little bit of, I've got some Irish whiskey here. Cognac is what is recommended for this, but don't really have any. A little bit of, about a tablespoon of flour here. Just let that cook just a little bit. Flour is starting to get a little bit brown. We're gonna add about 1.5 cups of chicken stock and a cup of heavy cream. It's about a cup. For some flavor, we'll add about a teaspoon of soy sauce. Then we're gonna turn this down, let it simmer, thicken for a bit while I work on the green beans. This is looking good. I've got it down on a very low simmer. I've added some salt and pepper to it for seasoning, but it didn't need much. We've got water boiling here. I'm gonna throw green beans. So these have been washed, cut into 1-inch pieces roughly. Throw those in there, and that's just gonna cook for 2 minutes. When those come out, they're gonna go into an ice bath. Here you can see I've thrown the beans in with the ice. We'll let that chill, and then we'll assemble it into the casserole. I had a bigger casserole, but I realized for the amount of green beans I have, it's probably overkill. So I've got a smaller one here. It's actually a cake pan, but it should work. I've got the green beans here. Now we're gonna add the mushroom soup. I think I may have too much mushroom soup, we'll see. Now we'll mix this up. Now, normally I'd use half the, I'd also throw in half the fried onions, but I had a bit of a mishap with my fried onions with the first batch. I burned them, so we're just gonna have the second batch, and that'll just go on top, but normally you would add them in. That is ready to go in the oven, and we're gonna cook that covered for the first 20 minutes or so, and then we'll add the fried onions, the second batch of fried onions, and finish it off. This is going in the oven at 350. First batch, I tried in the air fryer. This is what happened. Got totally incinerated, partially because I forgot about it, but also I found that the air fryer was not cooking it super evenly. I'm not sure. Rather than try it again for this, I'm just gonna deep fry it the old-fashioned way. I will try maybe some other time to do them in the air fryer. Heating this oil to about 325 or so. Okay, we're about 330 degrees. We're gonna throw in the rest of these onions. Okay, these are looking done, nice and crispy. So I'm gonna take them out. This was in the oven for 20 minutes, covered at 350. Now we're gonna add the onions. And we're gonna put that back till it starts bubbling. Probably another 10, 15. Here we have it, fresh out of the oven. So it was baked for about 20 minutes at 350 covered, and then another 10 with the onions on top. So see they've gotten a bit brown, and it looks great. So I'm just gonna serve some of this here without making a huge mess. There we go, so let's give this a little try. That's delicious, I could probably eat this whole thing. This is a fair bit of work, a lot more work than the old sort of frozen or canned green beans and a can of soup. But certainly if you're bringing just one side dish over to an event, it's certainly doable. And I'm going to try to perfect doing the onions in the air fryer, and if I do that, I'll post a video because that would certainly make this even simpler. So give it a shot. As I say, I'll link the Babish video down below to see. He's got this one plus a few other good ones. Thank you very much.